All right. So first, did everybody finish what they did the other day? Okay. So what did you guys see about budgeting? Was it easy?
Yes.
It's never easy. Um, did you guys see a difference from city to city about budgeting? Jessica?
Seems like the average one-bedroom apartment in New York costing 4K.
Oh yeah, it's super expensive. Why would it might be more expensive there?
The cost of living.
Cost of living is way higher. There's less land for people to be on. That's why there's the skyscrapers you have to go up and everything. What about jobs? Do jobs pay more there?
Yes.
Why would they pay more?
So they can afford the cost of living.
To afford the cost of living. Exactly. So what I'm gonna ask for now is a couple of volunteers, but I've already picked the volunteers, so you're getting voluntold. And I want first, I want Phelps to come up here, come up to the board, and I want you to explain your reasoning here. Yes, freeze frozen. Give me a second.
While we're waiting for your document to pop up, what were some of the things that you were thinking about as you were looking at places to rent?
New York and Charlotte, I would never want to.
What did you like start to consider as you were looking at your apartment? Right, and that's a good point. When you're mortgaging a home, when you're looking to buy a home, it is an investment, whereas rent is just a payment. No way you're ever really gonna own an apartment. So, looks like right here, you're taking home every month $5,037. What did you choose to do?
Occupation.
Okay, that makes sense. Um, all right, so you're making that much money in a month, but you chose a low-end apartment, it looks like. Why'd you do that?
Well, I don't really have much need for really. I'll live comfortably, but live knowing that I can pay for what I have.
And that kind of continued with Charlotte. But everyone, how did you find $1,000 apartment in New York? Just like Sakai said, it's about 4,000. How did you do that?
I changed the filter to show me the cheapest one.
Okay.
That's how you look for houses in New York.
So that was definitely one of your focuses for apartments, getting cheaper apartments. And then down here, we're looking at the overall indexes. What are the indexes made of?
The average price of a certain type of thing.
So what was the average number? Anybody remember? 100. So if we're looking at 84, is that good or bad?
I guess for us.
What's right there? Yeah, it's under 100. The average cost of everything. So down here, what other expenses did you consider?
If I had to do a lot of work from home, I would probably have to get some Wi-Fi connection. But I kind of just want to have good cell service, and if I have to go through that, and I probably will end up paying for Netflix or parents' account. And I'll probably get a membership at a gym nearby.
So would you think that was like a focus for you to have a gym membership? Maybe did you look at any apartments that had gym? No. But you bring up a good point with like internet and electricity. Like those are both going to be things that no one ever really thinks about having to pay for on top of the apartment. It used to be that those were included with the rent. A lot of the times they aren't now. They're completely separate payments, at least they are for me. And they can get up there if you're not very, very focused on turning the lights off every time or turning the water off as soon as you're done using all that stuff. All right, so is the apartment you chose going to fit within your budget comfortably?
It did feel a bit steep, especially after all the taxes and fees that you have to take out for the government charges and plan on getting here. But I will, I'm trying to make up for it in other areas, like, no,
Yeah, and that's a good job. Everybody give Phelps a hand. Phelps hit on a lot of really good points, like, you know, not living above your means, and even with apartments, it's really easy to get very expensive apartments, whereas you could live somewhere else for just about the same price or a little bit cheaper that offers the same exact thing. All right, next up, Aaliyah. So let's start off with what career you chose.
They can't hear you back there, girls. Speak up.
I chose the propulsion engineer because feeling like was the career I wanted on Indeed, and my monthly in it is about 6,000. And for the Greenville, I chose a house, and the monthly payment pretty. I was there for the whole, and I just saw that the house was, it was a nice house, but it was smaller. But I don't really need all the things.
Was that something that went into your other decisions? Was it kind of a little bit smaller apartment?
Yeah, I guess. Like, do I really need all these extra things?
Yeah, and that's a good point. That's you looking at the cost benefit analysis, looking at the trade-off and saying, well, it's only me, I don't need this. I went for 868 in Greenville. And then, is this the range?
Yeah. It's like different apartments.
Okay.
But I chose that one. I think it was the one bedroom. I don't remember, but an apartment, and I mean, it has a lot of the comforts. I think it has like a gym and a pool, and it has some utilities, not all of the other things. But I thought that was a good price. And compared to like living in Greenville and gas prices and a car, you don't really need a car to live in Charlotte and England, but it kind of evens out.
Yeah, definitely. And these prices are probably going to be like a studio and a one-bedroom,
Yeah.
so like. And then the last one, the one that you always see the double price.
Yeah, that one. I don't really know what for, so I just kind of picked one. Seemed like it was nice, and it wasn't super cheap. It was kind of on the low end. I think it was
Okay, so
it was like it was pretty spacious.
and then what were some expenses that weren't on that chart?
It was pretty much like, and then like all the stuff kind of really need to live, and also food costs a lot.
Yeah, believe me, I know. And just like Phelps said, like there are certain things that weren't in that chart that you do need at this day and age. You need internet, you need electric, you're probably going to need a phone bill. But those might be things that you look at to benefit you specifically, to get the best plan for you, rather than getting like a big bundle plan. So do you think you could move comfortably within your budget with the health?
I could definitely within my budget maybe over my means that one. And with the apartment, I think that I can make it work, but you know, I wouldn't get have a lot of wants. But I think I can make it.
How many of y'all focused on a house? Leah, okay. One factor that's not listed here, is insurance. If you buy a house and take out a mortgage, you have to have insurance. It is not an option. When you rent, you don't have to have insurance. So that's another factor that's gotta come into play. Can I afford insurance?
So, like, you know, just like how we're talking about insurance, that's kind of gonna be an unexpected, payment that you guys aren't really thinking about, that you're gonna need later. And you guys saw how hard budgeting was when everything was stable, right? That you have your job at the very base salary. Do you remember anything recently where people weren't so confident in the jobs that they had? COVID. Everyone lived through, you guys are in middle school, but that was right? I was a freshman in college when it first happened. So, I also got my academic plans messed up a little bit. But one of the things that kind of gets unnoticed when we talk about COVID, especially when we're talking about COVID in class, is how it impacted the people. We talked about like how it's impacted the economy, but I want you guys to see what happened to the individuals. So I'm going to pass out some articles. It's from the UK, so you're going to see how COVID didn't just impact the US, but impacted the world. And I want you to use your cognitive markers to go through and annotate these, and I want you to be prepared to share those with a group and pass these out, read through them. I'll give you 15, 20 minutes to do that, and then we're going to go to your group, okay?
Your laptop screen is down, you don't need them. You get hard copies. Get one of these articles is people in the UK, other is in the US. You can put your names on the sheet, please. Yeah, you too.
guys close to done? I'll give you 2 more minutes. Alright. Move you guys into your group stuff, and what I want you to do in your groups is I want you to share what each of you thought at a time. So, if Nathaniel shares, he's gonna share everything that he saw, and then Sakai is gonna share. Does that make sense? I don't want you talking over each other. I want one person talking at a time. And I'm gonna break these groups up like this. So Brandon, everybody behind you, you're in a group. Sakai, everybody behind you, you're in a group. Daniel, everybody behind you, you're in a group. Edgar, everybody behind you, you're in a group. Who's in your group? Everybody behind you. Same thing with you. And I want you guys to space out, get some room so you can talk, okay? I'm gonna give you 17, 18 minutes to do that, alright?
Great, yeah, move around the room, spread out, campfires, the front of the room, the side of the room, the back of the room. Get your group spread out so you're not talking over each other.
One person.
I caught it, but it just like just thoughts and different thoughts. You gotta be. It sounds like it really, really sucked. Everywhere. Just in that. I can't imagine having a job for 3 randomly different jobs because this bad disease just kind of popped up out of nowhere. Just like, oh, and you get the job because your person was there once. Yeah, with the Zoom. 16 years. Because they're less experienced. Yeah, but see, they don't think this well. So really, well, no, not technically.
They're still laying them off, and they're probably taking them less.
And then it's I think it's like a stimulus, but people were struggling because they were. I didn't know what people were in their own business. They were struggling because they never really. It's just played off. But for economic, like how to deal with like positioning apart and sanitizing, like in a place where it's like air spot, it's like everyone was because everyone was online.
Yeah, the Finnegan Rosso. I'm going down, so unemployment is high, so
They were like, it helps some, they don't have more like work, but it barely helps at all. So, I guess it really.
No, he said he would for all three, doing it to get experience, to get back. But he was willing to
Unable to find work in this trend throughout the pandemic, despite offering the service.
to gain further experience.
Well, that means he was trying to get the experience and offering it for free, but she was hired. Yeah. Like that's crazy. So economy does not. So basically, what I'm hearing is basically like a professional sometimes it was kind of she said like she don't have to take care of the animals, so that's they're considered essential. She still got laid off. There were others. I mean, I don't really see how it matters if the government it matters if someone is a employer or not. It really only matters to the think about it this way, like when nurses are I understand that it's like crazy. I don't really understand how like laying off a zookeeper is going to benefit anyone else. Also, I was talking about all the small businesses that were just like, the only guy I yeah, one guy just right by getting wiped out by like some sort of that way.
One of them mentioned the actor, which is very true. But said, I think they can be the same experiences, the number of clients, the past, we have those, I think we still do that. We stand back there.
Actually, so
they've been thinking of it.
oh, you know how I thought it was this thing now, like reading
That was also a very
that was like it's less about it was just about I say now they got that about people aren't gonna have the money to come see it and then production on. So I guess that applies to a lot of things. Like I think notice people started during the on like as everything went online, people started really relying on like online reviews. So no one went to movies.
That was the past 5
Still really don't all the time. That was 5
on 2020, 2021 January.
Another thing was like I was mentioned earlier, yeah, for some which one of my beds that I need to live it's
A lot of businesses need to care about that. That was funny. I was kind of like, wow.
But then people did do that. And it's also all over the place. Like people do some Texas, New York, Louisiana, Chicago, even people with really different like positions, like state manager. So people are, it's like they're still having similar issues. You guys are all people with like traveling, but the people with less experience. So younger. Because you have elementary school.
Well, the younger people probably be less experience.
It's just like I remember when they had to like a third of its capacity because they had to keep the basically obviously like we're going to non-student time, but then when they were like they were like park you're doing like an awesome job. I guess I'm relying on their. Stimulus check with like a cube, and I was like,
They probably just copy and paste it.
I mean, they're both, even though one is American, one is UK, they're both from British because this one is they, the language came from them first, right? Yeah, just tell me all the receiving language. I also think that they struggle to find unemployment. It was hard to because everyone was finding unemployment. It was hard to get but at the same time, it was beneficial. All right, everybody. What's the thing that you guys came across in your group? Scott, you go first. Yeah, and I heard this group talking about the other type of people that were getting laid off.
That was like basically all the people that are newest people. So the ones who have enough experience.
Yeah, and the reason why that's going to be is because if you've got new hires that aren't as experienced, they're a lot easier to let go. And if you have older people that are near the end of their careers, they're also pretty easy to get rid of because they're going to cost you more money because you're paying them more because they've shown that experience. You probably gave them a bunch of raises. What else is your guys' group on? Anything else?
We're all desperate for any people.
Yeah, they're all desperate. Like, you guys might not remember this, but a lot of people were changing careers. A lot of people were looking for any kind of work because there were no jobs. Nothing was available. All those brick and mortar businesses are failing. So you're going to see over COVID and with any kind of economic downturn like that, people are just going to try to get a job anyway.
I feel like people in like that got hit the hardest were at work.
Yeah, kind of like what we said. The older people are getting laid off. So do you think the younger people are getting laid off in the UK?
I'm sure they were, but I'm saying the people that were hit on a like kind of to the extent like they were promised for this job for a long time and then they're like
Yeah, that's something else you're going to see. You're going to see a bunch of people that have job prospects. They're not going to be able to have it. Right. And like, how many, does anyone know how many stimulus checks we got? We got 3. So the money that you got from those stimulus checks, it wasn't gonna be enough to live on. It might be enough to pay rent, it might be enough to get groceries, but it's not gonna be enough for you to just live on without a job. So that's a great point, Jamari. Like, people are waiting for these checks, but they're having to cut a lot of other expenses, even a lot of needs, just so they can get by. We don't.
You said in the story that minimum wage, that's this disposable job versus the business job. They were telling, we were really talking about the business anymore, because I was thinking of businesses. Business kind of love their job, they find that they didn't have much worry. Because it was from like, it seemed like they were being prepared. Businesses that were working, they didn't really get the text as much, like something that they're having a hard time. If they were looking for a job, and they were just like,
Yeah, and like going back to what we said before, there is a lot of jobs that people are looking for. There are a lot of people that are now employed, but the job market isn't there. They can't just transition to another job because there's, throw out a number, 20% less jobs now. But another good point that you made is a lot of the businesses got bailed out. And I know, just like every other class I have, we talk about the 2008 recession. There was the huge auto bailout then. There was a big bailout over COVID for another really large industry. If anyone can name what that industry was, it's a travel industry. The airlines, good job, you get extra. The airlines got bailed out a lot because are you going to travel if there's a disease that you get from being around people? Exactly. So people weren't traveling, they weren't making enough money, so the government had to step in and give them money so they would stay around. Because otherwise they might have gone bankrupt. So that's a great point. People are helping the businesses open. Does anyone remember what they called the people that work in like grocery stores or work as nurses? Essential workers. That was a great way to say that those people were needed. And so that started to get used by other businesses saying, well, you guys aren't essential workers, we can lay something off. All right, what you got?
we talked about the bar owner. I feel like that's
Yeah, and that's an interesting point coming off of what we just talked about. These businesses are the ones that are getting helped the most, but it's interesting to see how a entrepreneur, a single person, is looking at the entire pandemic, where it's not just a business issue, it's a people issue. That's a really good point. All right, last but not least, what you guys think? Yeah, and that's a great point. We talked about that a little bit, but people are now having to choose what to pay. So we're seeing people, well, we have to pay rent, we might not be able to afford electric, so we're gonna use candles for the next few weeks. Or we have to pay rent, we can't pay for gas, we have to take a bus. And does anyone remember what that's called when you're choosing one thing over another? Opportunity cost, or trade-off, that's the other one. So you're seeing people having to make those choices, things that you guys have talked about, but making them at a very, very impactful level. It's not, can I go to the movies or should I study? It's, should I get food or should I pay the rent? So I wanted you guys to see just how hard a business cycle, when it flips down like that, can be on people. All right, I want you guys to go back to your seats.
Hey, before we go back to our seats, one quick item, actually two. Make sure you got your names on your sheets. I'm gonna come around and collect those up on you, see how you marked them up and commented. And the second item is, most people lost their jobs. How do they make ends meet? You got no income. What are the options left? It takes a while for unemployment to kick in. Besides stimulus checks, you know, it takes a while for the government to get those out. What do people do when they lost their income? How do they survive? Uriel. That's only gonna be a handful of people. How are you gonna pay your bills to get on the job? Right. You sell stuff? Not everybody has something that's worth selling. So how are you going to pay your bills, guys?
Steal.
Not steal, illegal stuff. Rizzo?
Can you get a pushback? Is there a legal way to push back?
Well, a lot of rent payments are suspended. You can be addicted rent program if you weren't paying your rent. Then that would repeal. Troy? Some people. There's two things that people did to survive when they didn't have an income. Candy? If you don't have an income, you can't get a loan. Candy? I'm not trying to say what's up. The two things that people did was they completed their savings and maxed out their credit cards. Okay.
Alright, so, like Dr. Purvis said, get your names on that stuff, get back in your regular season, we're gonna go to our next thing, right?
Yeah, actually.
I know moving makes you guys talk, but come on, guys. Alright, so, just like we talked about, when you don't have a lot of money, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that you try to do. You're gonna try to change career, you might try to relocate and go somewhere else. You might try to sell your property, but a lot of people are gonna go into debt no matter what. They're gonna complete their savings, all that money that you thought you're gonna have, your retire's gonna be gone. All your credit cards are gonna be maxed out. And you guys saw how hard it was to budget when you guys did that activity, when there was nothing wrong, right? Well, guess what? Now there's something wrong. So, all of you have just been laid off. But, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You just got hired. But you're making 2/3 of what you made before. And you have to relocate. And you're relocating to Raleigh, Seattle, or Philly. And on top of all of that, when you got laid off, you maxed out your credit cards. So every month, you have to make a $200 credit card payment. That's gonna go into your budget. So, that's what your next thing is. And does everyone know how to get 2/3 of a number?
Yeah.
That's a little bit complicated. Right. So what you can do is just 1,000 times 0.67. That's the easiest way to do that. Who here is good at math? What's that? What's the answer to that? 670. It's 670. Okay. All right. So that's how you're going to get that number. All right, everybody. That's how you're going to get your overall salary. So now what do you do to get your monthly income? Remember, salaries for the year divided by 12. So then 12, and then whatever that is. Does that make sense, everybody? All right. So. Alright, so I've got this article up for you now, and it's the same thing that you guys did last time, except except in those charts, it's Philly, Seattle, and Raleigh that want you to budget for, okay? All right, go ahead and start.
Maybe you got it. Like, maybe, yes, or maybe you can't afford.
All right, so, a lot of questions first period. And you don't have to go in and answer all these are at the top, the links are here, so you go back and refer to them if you need to. You know what your monthly salary, I should say your yearly salary or monthly was yesterday. So if you were bringing home $1,800 a month net pay, you're now gonna put that there, what it was previously. Now you're gonna put what it is now. So if it was $1,000 a month net pay, now you're at $670 a month. You gotta find a place to live. You look for an apartment, not a house. Looking for an apartment where you only have $670 a month, plus you have to pay $200 a month on credit cards. So you're looking at about $470 to find a place to live.
You know, when we were through the Great Depression, like homes that were in apartment buildings that were like those prices. Yeah, that's where we're here. That's I think I'll be fine, but that totally depends on where I live. No, it's we're probably gonna have to go stupid garbage like this at some point. Like I'm laughing about what I'm actually.
This is real life stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of you have to deal with this stuff. We do.
Be right. You set yourself up so this doesn't happen. They're just up there. That money, it still needs to buy it.
Remember, moving in with me is not an option.
If you're not living in a gated community, around those you look for gated.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still making 4K. Pretty sure I'd still be able to. The place I'm looking for.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, I didn't. How much money? Oh yeah, did you do after that?
looking at homes, you're looking at apartments.
Alright, everybody up here really quick. What were you guys saying about budgeting now that you had a little bit less money? Yeah. Have you guys noticed anything different about the, cost of living in Seattle and Philly as compared to what we did the other day? It's higher. It's a lot higher. Yeah, New York is pretty good. But now you guys are starting to kind of see what it was like for people over COVID, where they maybe had to relocate, where they definitely were being paid less, and they had to start budgeting even more. Last time, you guys probably could have gotten the house that you wanted. Now you have to start looking a lot closer at what's better for you guys, right?
They were able to share everything. They could just walk in and out. No, I will be living in the streets. I will be drooling rats for days. homeless shelter. No.
That's why you show live at the very top of the boat, everybody's crazy. Ransack it.
Stonks. Dr. Prober, do you think in a situation like that there's going to be too many people in the homeless shelters? I feel like it'd be a bit overcrowded. Kind of weird. Homeless teenagers are really common.
When they should
And a lot of people do that.
here's the strategy, right? I went to the very top.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. You're gonna steal more than $400 worth of stuff.